Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, the GOAT has put an end to the GOAT debate. Michael Jordan, by way of interview with Gail King, just briefly, I hit it. The interview wasn't really about that. He talked about his NASCAR. He talked about his life. He talked about where he's at as far as his happiness right now and all this stuff. Talked about a couple of things. That was just a small footnote of the interview when she asked about the GOAT. Very brief, about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, not even long at all. I'm gonna let some of y'all join in and get in here. Make sure when y'all join in, y'all hit the like button. I see Shot Rider Westside in the audience, man. Salute to you, brother. Everyone else, make sure you drop a like as soon as you come in. Hit the like button. Share the feed as well. Drop a comment in there so I can see who's up in here. This is gonna be a good episode. I think we should do call-ins on a couple of these segments as well. Kai Soprano, what's up, man? Salute, bro. I thought the whole comment about, but Michael Jordan has always said this. He said this before, like, I think he kind of cringes at the thought of a GOAT. Does he, like, behind the scenes in his own living quarters, does he think when he have his family and friends over that's very close to him, do he think that he's the greatest player that ever played? He probably do. I mean, from some of the people that is around him, they would allude to the fact that he does kind of hold that thought. But publicly, I think it's too disrespectful for him. As well as Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant didn't like the idea either. After he retired, he was able to kind of drop his competitive edge when it comes to trying to be the best and the greatest at that moment and have a moment of clarity and transparency and honesty and just really say, like, I would never, he said, I would never say I was better than Michael Jordan because I got so much of the game from him, whether it was directly or indirectly, and at the beginning for Kobe Bryant, it was indirect before they had a relationship with each other. So it was him growing up as a youngster, watching Michael Jordan, studying Michael Jordan, and mimicking Michael Jordan. So he got so much from Michael Jordan, amongst other players and other greats, Jerry West and, all these other people that he was able to watch, Elgin Baylor and every big guard that could score. Like, he watched, he studied, but Michael Jordan for the most part. And then along the line, they was able to have a close relationship with each other where he could call Michael Jordan. And he said he got so much knowledge from him as well. Magic Johnson, I can't forget about Magic, got so much knowledge from the guys before him. It'd be really crazy to turn back around and then say that you're better than that guy. Like, where you got in your career, you got most of that, from talking to these guys and picking their brain and them showing you certain things. Like, so you like, it's really disrespectful to do that. So publicly, I understand what Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant coming from when they say you can't pick a GOAT. You play in different eras. You never played against those greats. And what you have in your bag and your own, with your repertoire and your game, what you have, you had to build upon what was before you or what the foundation was, whatever the foundational players, you had to get that from them. So taking so much from them to put what you already got gifted to you by God and your work ethic and how far you can get yourself, you just can't really say that. Now, that's for the players. They can't say it. We can. But I'll play for you what Mike said.
Though there is one he would prefer not to hold.
Is there room for more than one GOAT in basketball?
There's no such thing as GOAT. To me,
No such thing?
Not to me. Yeah, it's only because I think we learn from other athletes, we progress the game. To say that one is better than the other is not really right.
Let's end with this, Michael. You've done so much.
What's up, James Pierre? But yeah, so he said, man, to say you got so much of the game from the guys that came from you before you, to say you're better than them is just not right. And I agree. I agree with that, right? But does that mean there's really no greatest of all time? I mean, I don't agree 100% with Mike on that. I love the fact that he takes the high road and don't crown himself. I love the fact that he don't want to publicly be disrespectful for the to the pioneers and the foundation and the guys that came before him. And it's a respect thing, because at the end of the day, it's a huge fraternity. Like, when you think about how many guys have made it to the NBA and played in the NBA, it's not a huge part of the population. It's a select few. Like, even to right now, and it's less than 400 playing in the league right now. That's a small fraternity. That's a very small fraternity, right? It's probably big. The Chiefs mess in the Navy is probably bigger than that. Currently, any fraternity or sorority is probably bigger than that. So when you think about the guys that's playing now and the guys that's still living that played previously, it's a small fraternity. And amongst that fraternity, you got the Hall of Fame, which is even smaller. And then amongst that, you got the top 75. It's only 75. And Mike is part of that. Kobe is part of that. LeBron is part of that. Steph is part of that. Magic is part of that. It is insane when you got to go in the rooms with these guys at some point. And these are your elder statesmen. These are your elders. These are the foundation of the league. These are the pioneers. These are the people who saved the league from destruction, like Magic and Bird. I mean, you get what I'm saying? This is the record book, which is Wilt. This is the logo, which is Jerry West. This is Red Auerbach. This is Bill Russell's and his 11 rings. Like, these guys, this is Kareem with his 6 MVPs and 6 finals wins and 6 finals MVPs and 3 or however long he played at UCLA, 3 championships in college. Like, these are these guys, right? You're standing on their shoulders, and somebody put a mic in your face, and you got the nerve to come out and say, I'm the greatest of all time. I'm better than this guy. I'm better than this guy. Or even worse, like what Anthony Edwards said, there was nobody good playing when Michael Jordan was playing except Mike. Or even worse, J.J. Redick saying it was just a bunch of plumbers. And Bob Cousy couldn't dribble with his left hand. Right? And J.J. Redick is not even part of the smaller fraternity of Hall of Fame or the smaller fraternity of top 75 or the smaller fraternity of top 50. Like, he's not part of that. And he had the nerve to fix his mouth to say some nonsense like that. Right? So this era has got to, kind of turn the corner and kind of, get the ship going in the right direction again to where they're respecting what came before them. Like, that's got to happen. And I really like, for the most part, people like Kevin Durant do respect it. Right? I've seen him, when he went on LeBron James podcast and, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. He did say something I didn't like then, but for the most part, when he was able to speak and just be Kevin Durant, and he's not really trying to fit in with whoever he's around. He's very respectful of the game, very respectful of MJ, very respectful of Kobe and everybody else, Elijah Wan, all of that. And I like that. I think Steph Curry got out of the way a little bit when Gilbert Arenas asked him who's the top 5 point guards of all time, or who's the best point guard of all time, who you think it is. And he pretty much said it was him. He was like, who the only names you got out there? Me and Magic? I'm like, come on, dog. Isaiah Thomas. I mean, we got to be real. Isaiah Thomas is up there. Oscar is up there. Like, Steph, you ain't a shoe-in. I mean, we know Magic is 1 for me. We know Isaiah is 2. I don't think there's no one that's going to pass Magic and Isaiah ever. Right? They're just not. So for number 3, that's when the debate starts. Is it going to be Steph? Is it going to be Oscar? Do we count Jerry West as as a shooting guard or a point guard? That'd be the other question. Because if we do, then Jerry West he's in the debate as well with Steph and Oscar. Steph, Oscar, Jerry West, right? I think I can go ahead and put Steph above J. Kidd and John Stockton, though. I really do. So if Jerry West is a 2 guard, then number 3 is the debate between Steph and Oscar. But for you to just come out there and act like Isaiah and Oscar didn't even exist, and that you got some argument over Magic, like Steph has no argument over Magic, like zero. Like it's not even close. Maybe Isaiah, there's a debate with Isaiah and Steph, but for me, it's not. It's really Isaiah didn't need the best player in the league and Kevin Durant to come and join him to help him get 2 more rings. Isaiah didn't need that. Kevin Durant would have been the equivalent of Michael Jordan joining the Pistons. Kevin Durant was seriously the best player in the league at that moment. But even if you think LeBron was the best player in the league and Kevin Durant was number 2, then who would be number 2 behind Michael Jordan then? Maybe Hakeem. So that's the equivalent of Hakeem going to go join Isaiah. Or maybe Bird when he was in his, like, you get what I'm saying? That's what Steph did. That's what Steph did. So let me know if y'all can hear me. My camera just I just had an issue with my camera. Can y'all still hear me? All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Can y'all still hear me? Can y'all hear me good? Let me know if y'all can still hear me. If I'm coming through my mic. Yeah, I had a camera issue just now. But who said Stockton over CP3? Let me see what it says. Steph don't even play point. Draymond is the point for the Warriors. Yeah, I mean, but we got to put Steph somewhere. We got to put him at some position, and you know his position is point guard. So, you know, I mean, I feel the same way. Like it's you know the way the league is now, it's kind of hard to determine it. Like for me, I don't think Luka is a point guard, but he plays point. Like he has the ball. He plays point guard. He kind of plays point guard. But yeah, that's their point guard, right? So whenever I do rankings for players, I always put Luka at small forward when I do my rankings, and then at the end I change and be like, yeah, that's not fair. Like he really, you know, he really says he's a point guard, so I respect what he think he is, and I rank him as a point guard, right? But I really be wanting to put him at small forward, which is his natural position. I mean, because he ain't doing anything different than what Turkoglu did in Orlando with Dwight Howard. But you know, Turkoglu would start at the small forward or the power forward. You know, it was him and Rashard Lewis playing the 3 and the 4 positions, which was cool by Stan Van Gundy to you know see that he could do that with 2 6'10" guys that both can shoot the 3 and handle the ball. But Turkoglu would play the small forward. And you know, Jameer Nelson was the starting point guard, but every now and then, since Jameer Nelson is also a decent catch and shoot shooter, or he would go to the bench and you know they needed a backup and they didn't always have Rafe Alston or want to put Rafe Alston in there, they would let Turkoglu run the point as a secondary point guard, right? And he was hell in that screening role. And I remember one year, Turkoglu had like a lot of clutch baskets. He hit a couple of game winners. Like Turkoglu was really doing his thing. And it just goes to show you, if you have a certain amount of talent and skill, if you can handle the ball, if you can run a screen roll, if you can shoot, if you can also get to the rim and score in the paint, and you can pass, you can play that high screen and roll system. Like Turkoglu made it look really good. And that's all Luka is doing, except Luka is a tad bit better than Turkoglu. And he has the ball a lot more than Turkoglu did. And Turkoglu didn't play like this in Sacramento at all. And after he left Orlando, I don't think he played like this nowhere else he went. Like, Steph Van Gundy was the only coach that allowed him to do that, because everyone else was locked in to, how they was playing basketball in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. If you 6'10" and in a small forward's body, I don't care how much ball handling skills you got or how much you can pass, you're playing small forward. I'd get a whole point guard to run point guard. Why do I need a 6'10" guy to run point guard for me? But that's what they're doing now. And I think kind of like LeBron kind of showed people that this was something that could work because he thrived with the ball in his hand. I remember when he first came to Cleveland, Paul Silas was talking about how he looked in training camp. He was like, yeah, the kid can handle, like, he could be a point guard. Like, he can handle the ball that well. But we don't know where we're going to put him at. Point guard, small forward, shooting guard. We don't know where we're going to put him at. Like, they was clueless what to do with LeBron, right? And when they found, when they got rid of Paul Silas and Mike Brown came in and they just unleashed him and was like, all right, man, hey, we're going to get shooters. We're going to put them around you. We're going to let you handle the ball, run high screen and roll, and you're going to make all the plays. That was showing the league, which is a copycat league, hey, this is a possibility. And ever since then, for the most part, when you have a really dynamic player that's good on the perimeter who can handle the ball, they're just going to give them the point, right? SGA, LeBron, Harden, Westbrook, Luka, Cade, Danny Avdija in Portland. Like, that's what they're doing. They're 6'8" guy who's probably their best scorer. You're also now the point guard. I mean, you can even look at Jokic. They're all doing it. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent, right? That's my thoughts on Michael Jordan saying that the GOAT debate is not a real debate and it doesn't exist. I disagree. It does exist. But I respect anybody who is in his position that is going to punt that question at whenever he gets it. That's a good idea to punt that question. It's just not a good look to crown yourself, so to speak, like we've seen LeBron do so many times. But here's the interesting thing. While Michael Jordan is trying to shut down the GOAT conversation and the GOAT talk and all that stuff, everyone's still talking about it. All the fans are still talking about it. Current players, former players, analysts, media, everyone's still talking about it, and they're just going to continue to talk about it. It's just, I guess it's just good banter. And John Starks was just recently on a podcast who played against Michael Jordan, competed against him and all of that stuff. And you would think he would hate the Bulls and Michael Jordan. But when he was asked the question about surrounding around Michael Jordan and the GOAT, I thought his comments was very interesting.
Here's the question that goes with that everybody always wants to know, right? LeBron or Michael, who is the GOAT?
Oh, definitely Michael. I ain't going that far.
Why?
I'm not going that far.
Yeah.
Michael was just different, bro. He was just a different animal. It's just like some guys, you can throw some kids out here in front of us and you can like, okay, that kid is different from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's Michael. You know what I mean? He's just like his mentality, his will to overcome, anything out there on the court. And he was a very intelligent player on top of it. The Last Dance, I thought people were talking about, they made him look bad. No, I think it showed his greatness. It shows you what a great player do for other players that's not at his level, where he pushed them to get to his level, even though they couldn't get to it, but they believed that they was on his level. And he knew that he had to get them up from a mental standpoint in order for him to get past Detroit. You're talking about Scottie Pippen and all the ups and downs he had up until they broke through in 90, and that's him pushing Horace Grant, B.J. Armstrong, those guys, even Steve Kerr, he came a little bit later, but he had to get his team up to his level in order for them to break through. And they broke through in a big way, and they kept breaking through.
I feel like
unfortunately.
I feel like
All right, so I'm gonna stop it there. He's got more to say. Let me address this on the screen with Shy Rider Westside. He said that I hear Rich Paul say he's not going to talk about it. You know what? I seen that as I was loading the sound bites, and I seen a clip of Rich Paul talking about it, and I clicked on it and I listened to about 40 seconds of it, and he never got to the point, and I couldn't get to what he was trying to say. Like he's the ultimate word salad, man, and I just can't stand. It's really hard for me to get through his conversation, man. It's really hard. So I didn't even get to the part where he said he was gonna shut down the conversation because he was putting so much fluff out there, man. It was unreal. Shout out to Bruce from the Format Podcast, man. What up, big dog? So what Starks is saying is a lot of people have been saying this a lot. That LeBron makes his teammates better. And I don't think they really know what they mean. They never explain what they mean. And I think that everyone in that we've gotten lazy with that, and we're just repeating it. And anybody who's racking up assists, or anybody who can pass, or anybody who runs the offense, once we see those assist numbers, we just automatically attach that to he's making his teammates better, or he's making everybody better. But I'm someone who likes I like to use words that really match what I'm trying to say. Like all words have meaning. So if you say you make somebody better, I'm expecting you to be able to prove that you made somebody better. And by making somebody better, I think that you have to show someone at one level and establish that. And then with the help of this guy, he was able to get to this level over a period of time. And that shows that you got better. That's called making someone better. But if I put LeBron James on the floor and you put 4 Kyle Korvers on the floor with him, shooters, and LeBron James spread the floor and he's driving and kicking to Kyle Korver, and Kyle Korver, if he's wide open, he's a 40% three-point shooter. So now that LeBron James is driving and drawing double teams, I'm throwing to a wide open Kyle Korver and he shoots 40%, and everybody say that LeBron made Kyle Korver better. Well, that's not what happened. He got Kyle Korver open shots, but he's still a 40% three-point shooter. What did Kyle Korver get better at? Right? What did he get better at? So what people actually try to give credit to LeBron for is actually what John Starks is saying that Michael Jordan did. He said Michael Jordan came to the Bulls and the Bulls drafted rookies that came into the league at one level, and with the help of Michael Jordan and the development of whatever Phil Jackson and the Bulls and all the things that went together. I mean, we have on record Michael Jordan saying that Tim Grover, his trainer, his personal trainer, he gave to Scottie Pippen for free. Go help Scottie Pippen get in the shape that I'm in. And then he also, Ryan Harper would tell us about the what they call the Breakfast Club. I think John Sally talked about this. The Breakfast Club was Rodman, Pippen, and Ron Harper, and a couple other guys that Michael Jordan was like, hey, every morning we're here and we're working out. He got his guys and was like, number one, we're gonna be in tip-top shape. Not just me, all of us, right? Then we see Scottie Pippen as a guy that can't get off the bench as a rookie, or comes off the bench as a rookie playing minimum minutes. And then we see him turn into a starter. And then we see him turn into a point forward. And then we see him turn into an all-star. Then we see him turn into a guy who wasn't that mentally tough. Got bullied a little bit by the Pistons, got bullied a little bit by the Knicks. Sat out a game, deciding game in the playoffs for migraines, things of that nature. And Michael Jordan was built from the type of cloth that he would play with the flu, a stomach flu. Pippen couldn't even come out there and give him some type of minutes with a migraine. You get what I'm saying? So we see the level that Pippen was at. And then when we see him turn into an all-star top 50 Hall of Fame. That's like Michael Jordan helped get Pippen better. You got to get credit for Pippen for doing the work. But if we're going to give anybody credit for making a teammate better, it's what we seen with Chicago and Michael Jordan, not what we seen with LeBron. Starks is going to explain.
He doesn't get he doesn't get enough credit. Like LeBron gets a lot of credit for making his teammates better on the court, right?
Yeah.
And Michael, I think, probably didn't get enough credit for making his teammates better, maybe in off the court ways, because he wasn't picking up all the assists.
Yeah, I think what Michael made his teammates better because he grew them.
Yeah.
He grew Scotty. He grew Horace Grant. He grew BJ Armstrong. LeBron really didn't grow nobody. He joined talent. You know what I mean? Talent had to come to him. You know, it's like his first trip to Miami, where he went down and joined Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, recruited Chris Bosh, and they had a hell of a team. Then he came back to Cleveland because of Kyrie. That's the only reason he came back. I truly believe that, is that he came back because he knew he had a killer there. Kyrie was no joke, And then obviously he head out to the Lakers and he brought Anthony Davis with him. So Michael took these homegrown guys, drafted guys, and he helped raise them and made them into the player that they became. And he just put little sprinkle pieces around them and he made them a championship team. So that's where I give him the advantage over LeBron, is that he can take just simple pieces and make them into something that's great.
Man, that's well said. He said Michael Jordan grew the players that the Bulls gave him, right? That meaning that these guys was drafted as young bucks, rookies after Mike. Mike was a killer in high school. Mike was a killer in college. We knew what Mike was, right? We can't say that for anybody else that the Bulls drafted. We can't say that. Not even Tony Kukoc, even though he was the best European player over there. European players was coming to the NBA and getting chewed up and spit out. You remember a guy named Dino Roger? Dino Roger with the Boston Celtics. I wanted Dino Roger to work so bad because he was so skilled. He was so good. I promise you, if you go and look up some Dino Roger, you're gonna see his skill set was similar to what Jokic's is. Dino Roger was fantastic, but he was a power forward. And in a league where the power forwards was the king of the court, you got Barkley, you got Malone, you got Oakley, you got later on you had Garnett and Rashid and Tim Duncan. Then you got the power forwards was really wrecking stuff down low, man. Like they was really doing that thing. Centers as well. Right. So Dino Roger, no matter how skilled he was, he couldn't come in and out muscle and out hustle these American players, especially the brothers. Right. So Dino Roger got chewed up and spit out. Right. Same thing with Vlade Divac. Vlade Divac came over with every skill known to man. He could dribble it. He could shoot it. He could pass. He could post up. He had good footwork. Everything except mental toughness, strength, toughness, leaping ability, and dog, and defense. All the things that we know European players are not known for. Divac was one of those guys. And it takes you time to after a while, by the time Divac got to probably Sacramento, he tried to get tough, but he was a flopper. That's why Shaq called them the Sacramento Queens. Divac at 7 foot, his best defense was flopping. But I mean, what defense can you play on Shaq though? But you know what I mean? But he got a little tougher. But it takes time. So even with the Tony Kukoc thing, what Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen did to Tony at the Olympics when they found out that Jerry Krause was trying to replace Pippen with Tony. They took offense to that, and Pippen and Michael Jordan took turns just harassing him. He had the worst game, and he was pretty much seeing it right. Oh, if this is how the league is, I might not be ready. Go watch the documentary on the Dream Team when that happened, and listen to what Tony Kukoc said about it. Like he said, I didn't even know what was going on and why Jordan and Pippen was guarding me so tight, but I knew I wasn't ready. He had a horrible game there. He had a better game the second time they seen him. He was a little bit, but my point is this: these guys wasn't ready. These guys had to get ready. Michael Jordan was the only one that was ready. He came in averaging 28 as a rookie, right? He already run a national championship and had player of the year in college, a top 3 pick. Like, we knew what Mike was. Mike never was not him. But when did Scottie Pippen become him? After Mike. Horace, BJ, Tony. Like, these dudes wasn't him. Mike was the only one that was him. And what John Starks is saying is Mike actually was making them better because he got them at one level, and after influencing them and working with them and pushing them and driving them and demanding the best out of them, he got them to another level. Horace, Scotty, Tony, BJ, none of those guys were all-stars before Mike. Not even Phil Jackson was a Hall of Fame great coach before Mike. Everybody that came in contact with Mike with the Bulls after they got done doing whatever they did with the Bulls, their legacy was up here. But none of them had a legacy before Mike, not even Jerry Krause. The Bulls organization, Jerry Krause as a GM, Reinsdorf as an owner, Phil as a coach, Pippen as a star, Horace as whatever he was, Tony, BJ, Paxson, none of them had status before Mike. Mike was the only one that had status. After Mike, all of them got status. Even Steve Kerr, like people call Steve Kerr great all of a sudden. But when he was playing with Cleveland, backing up Terrell Brandon and Mark Price and Ron Harper and Gerald Wilkins, Steve Kerr couldn't even get off the bench. He goes to the Bulls, and now we know him. Nobody knew Steve Kerr when he was with the Cavs, stuck on their bench. Nobody. Right? I will say Ron Harper did have a name and some clout when the Bulls got him, but the Bulls got him when he was almost a shell of himself because of the knee injuries and knee surgeries. He wasn't jumping out the gym no more. He was just a really good player that, he was still moving. He was still serviceable enough to play good defense and run the offense as a point guard. Right. But he was a very different player. Dennis Rodman was 34 when he got to the Bulls. 34 years old. So he at the end of his prime, and the San Antonio Spurs was done with him. His best years we thought was behind him. So we can say Rodman and Ron Harper had a name, but everybody else he got as rookies, just like SGA with the Thunder. Unproven guys. Maybe Chet. I would say Chet because we knew Chet since high school. He was a 7-footer that can handle the ball and shoot and move. So we have been watching Chet since high school, but he went to Gonzaga and look, yeah. But here's my point. We credit LeBron for making people better, but the guys that he played with was already established before he got there. He tried to make people better like Jordan did with Cleveland, and they drafted Boobie Gibson and the J.J. Hickson, and they do things like that. Delonte West, he tried to homegrown his supporting cast. It didn't work. And when it didn't work, and when he tried for 5 or 6 years to try to make it work like Jordan did, and he realized how hard it was, he was like, you know what? No more me getting homegrown guys. I don't have time. I'm going into year 7. I need a ring. Right? I don't have time. I have to get it now. So he goes to Miami, already established franchise, recently already run a ring, got Pat Riley over there. This is not this like Phil Jackson was a first-year coach when Jordan got him. Pat Riley is a guy established. Miami's established. Eric Spoelstra might not have been established, but but Wade was established. Bosh was established. All of these guys was already him. And then just to put a cherry on top, they went and got Ray Allen, who was him. And then you sprinkle some more pieces. You go get Rashard Lewis. Rashard Lewis was a cold-blooded dude. Mike Miller, sharpshooter. So you're going to go get guys that's already established. That's a little bit easier than saying draft these guys and let me work with them. And after a couple of years, I have them ready. That's harder than guys that already raised themselves up and then you go join them. So Starks is saying Mike raised these guys up. Mike grew these guys. LeBron is just joining people who grew themselves. That's a difference. That's a huge difference. Very big difference, in my opinion. And I think y'all agree too. But I do want to hear from y'all what y'all think about that. I will open the phone lines up for that. Because I think it's worth having a conversation around it. You know, because some people might disagree. They might think that that LeBron did raise those guys up. Maybe he did. You know, I mean, Miami, he definitely didn't. Bosh, Ray Allen, and Wade was already them. Then once they get older, Ray Allen retired, D Wade knees are jacked up, and you see the grasses a little greener in Cleveland with the perfect storyline. You go back home, you get to negotiate with the owner that, hey man, I get to call some shots a little bit. You know, man, I want a little bit of control. I want Clutch Sports in the front office, you know, helping with some decisions. First decision I want to make is that number one pick that y'all got, that y'all just drafted Wiggins with. I want to play with Kevin Love. He already knew what type of player. Another player who already raised himself up and was already established is him. I want Kevin Love. Trade Wiggins for Kevin Love, and we already know what Kyrie Irving is, the number one pick, the guy that went to Duke and showed that he was the best player in college. Came straight to Cleveland, balling out of control. And I think myself as LeBron James, along with Kevin Love and this kid Kyrie Irving, I really think that we can do some damage. Caller from Washington, what's popping?
What's up, man? You know, it's your partner from Washington. It's been a minute.
Yeah, man. What's good, man? What's good? What's your thoughts?
Man, so about your comment about just making players better, like what people say for LeBron. I kind of been in that same boat just growing up too, because you always hear that like certain players, they make their teammates better. And I never understood that aspect. Just because a guy's just on my team, that he's all of a sudden just becomes a better shooter or a better ball handler, a better finisher.
It don't make sense, do it?
It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I get the part of putting guys in position to where they'll thrive at. Like if a guy's a shooter, putting him in the corner so you can drive the defense collecting, dishing it out, like putting him in the spots where they're going to be successful. But as far as just making a guy better, it just doesn't make sense. Like Magic Johnson, like great basketball player, but their offense and what he was as a floor general, like he had guys in position to where it was going to work. I don't think Magic Johnson made guys better. Like their offense just worked through him. But as far as making guys better, I just never understood that part.
Yeah, me either. Unless you're doing something psychological and you're making me play to the best of my ability, you getting the best out of me. Yeah, you can. I think a guy can do that instantly. I can get the best out of you by motivating you, but making you better, that takes time. That means I have to get better as a player. And I just don't see how LeBron did that for the most part, especially not with those guys that was already established like Kyrie, Love, Bosh, Wade, Ray Allen, you know, Anthony Davis, Luka.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those guys were already top players in the league before they even LeBron. I mean, that was the reason why he wanted to go back to Cleveland, was to play with Kyrie and to pick up Kevin Love, who was an all-NBA player when he was on Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
So,
when you can train your own co-star and your own help, that's big. When you can get a rookie, Scottie Pippen, and you say, all right, I need a co-star that is mentally tough. I need a co-star that's good enough on offense and defense. I need a co-star that's physically fit, and I'm going to help you get there so we can go win championships. That's very challenging. But for you to look over and say, I need a co-star, let me look and see what team got one that I want, that's totally different. You know what I mean? That's totally different, man. But yeah, man, appreciate the call, dog.
Yeah, for sure, man. Take care.
No doubt. All right, that caller from Phoenix, man. Call back really quick. I take that call and then we can move on. Caller from Phoenix, Arizona, what's popping?
Man down, what's good? It's Super Dave again from Raw Sports.
What's up, brother? Shout out to Raw Sports.
What's
man.
good?
Yeah, what's good?
Man, look, I kind of miss the majority of your show, but man, it's crazy. What a coincidence. I was just on the phone arguing with the two homies about this assist conversation, right? And when you say because great minds think alike. So we're gonna come across these topics. But when you say like you said, making guys better, like in particular, like LeBron, for example, how was he making guys better? Like J.R. Smith, when he came from the Knicks, he was averaging more points.
Mm-hmm.
When he got to Cleveland, he averaged less. When you watch some of these championship games that they was in, when you go back and look at them, these dudes were scoring off their own merit. Like, it ain't like LeBron was just setting the table so perfectly. A lot of these guys were taking like 1 or 2 dribbles and scoring. Amon Shumpert and those guys who's supposed to be, they can't really go out there and just get a bucket like that off the dribble all the time. You can't consistently depend on them that. But JR can. JR don't need LeBron to set him up. He ain't get to the NBA depending on a LeBron, passing him the ball. You know what I'm saying? When you really think about it, these guys don't get to the NBA like that. They a lottery pick, or you know what I'm saying, they highly regarded for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at James Worthy, you know what I'm saying? The year when he won the finals MVP, he was averaging like 19 points. When Magic left the game, he was averaging 19 points, almost 20, basically 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, the work happens, like Moses Malone said, making somebody better is in practice, bro. It's not in no assist. To me, man, I feel like that assist is overrated. Just like I said on Old Boy and them channel, like Ticket and them, they know, man. When I go through and when I counted all of the like Jokic stats, when he was that one game, like when he dished out like 9 assists, they gave him an extra 2 assists, and he took 33 passes to get those 9 assists.
Correct.
But you had like 7 turnovers.
We go talk about that on this show tonight, and I'm gonna show footage. We're gonna talk about it for sure,
bro. I could go in depth. I'm telling you, man, I can go in depth because I've been watching these frauds. Like they cooking the books for this man, and finally it's coming out. It's coming out now.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying, y'all got the platform for this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all really moved the needle. To be honest with you, it ain't what ESPN say, man. It's what Man Down say. You know what I'm saying? Guys like you and Low, man, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Anybody with a platform that I might be forgetting, but y'all dudes really had to say so right now, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate
Don't let it. Yeah, to the fans, man, this is where it's at. Go ahead now.
And you're right, Nat, because I'm starting to hear, and we'll talk about it later, but I'm starting to hear people say, defense is 50% of the game. Like now people starting to say it now. You know what I mean? We've been begging them to include defense in player evaluation, and especially when you're starting to give out MVP awards and first team all NBA and all that stuff, man. Like you have to play both sides of the court to be a player, a complete player.
Absolutely.
And now we're starting to hear more and more people in the mainstream say these things, man, and it came from YouTube. Like, we've been begging them to stop ignoring defense, man. So now we're here. So, but you're right.
That shows you the power of your voice. So imagine if me and you was on the same team. even if we on the same team and the nicest scorer on our team, you know, we know who the nicest scorer is, but he decided not to play defense. You think we're gonna keep passing this dude the ball, bro?
Yeah, not in no real game.
We ain't giving him. We not giving him the ball.
Yeah.
So this how you know the joint fixed. So how you giving Luka the ball? You know what I'm saying? And then it does a trick to people's mind because they sit here watching Luka play no defense. So they watching him flop. So that joint is trickling on down to the little leagues, and they watching that, and then he taking the worst shots and all these step back shots, travel, all of this stuff, and somehow it go in with the magnetic rim.
Yeah. Yeah, bad shot, bad shot. But you know what? He never have 2 games in a row where he hot, where he's hitting that 3. You know, one night he'll be 6 for 10 with those 3s, and then the next night he'll be 2 for 14.
Yeah, man, it's all bad basketball, and like you said, like I told him on that show with Ticket and them, like, man, and during the playoffs, I'm going to be taking more stats because those assists were just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually record how many points a player giving up on whether it's a pick and roll switch, if he just let the guy blow by, you know what I'm saying? If he not switching on the pick and roll in time, that's the point giving up. So like that one game, you know, against Cleveland when Jokic gave up, like, he gave up 31 points, but he scored 32. What are we doing, bro? This just for the numbers. Yeah. And then like guys like Luka and Westbrook, when they had, you know, they was racking up defensive rebounds, their teammates were moving out the way.
That's a fact.
Now I get it. It could be a strategy to help up temp, it's
not a good strategy. Basketball, you know, the fundamentals of basketball has been established over years, and my big moving out of the way so my point guard can get the rebound and go coast to coast has never been the best option. The best option is always the big rebounding and outlet passing as far as he can to the point guard or the shooting guard to run the fast breaks or the fast lanes. Like it's never it's never been good basketball to hey, let's let the point guard get all the rebounds, and because for the most part the point guard should be guarding the ball on the perimeter. So if you're not defending, and especially in this league where the point guards are the guys taking most of the shots, like we have scoring point guards like Dame Lillard, Steph, and CJ McCollum and all these dudes. So Westbrook would have been guarding guys with the ball in their hand, Harden, all these guys, right? Westbrook's supposed to have been guarding them. So if he's guarding the player that's taking the most shots, how is he in the best position to grab the rebounds every single time? It's because they're taking him off the ball because they don't want him to guard the ball, and they're taking him and putting him in the corner. And I think that's horrible.
Exactly.
That's horrible.
That's the strategy right there, the stat pad.
Yeah, and that's how they get rebounds.
Like I was giving it the benefit of doubt because if you waiting on the rebound or the center man, then it's 4-on-5 when you going up court. Or you know what I'm saying, whatever. But if you go ahead and let that center go and take off and you be the last man, that it seems like that's a more, you know what I'm saying, a quicker way to get the ball up court than having to pass it or look for somebody and go through a passing lane to get the ball to the point guard for outlet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like the Magic Johnson way.
Yeah.
You know, but you said something just now. You said something. Anyways, man. But moving on from that, a lot of this basketball, like I said, with this YouTube joint, man, I'm telling you, man, don't be surprised, bro, because it used to happen to us when we was really on our, you know what I'm saying, when we was actually doing our thing. And even though we small channel, it's like, man, we used to always see our topics just pop up online. Like one of the ones with the Tracy McGrady and Kobe joint, and they're like, what you'll realize that it's not the celebrities that's taking your content, it's the people that work for the celebrities that's listening to your channel.
Yeah, for sure.
They the ones who's going, they don't come up with topics. So they're gonna put that joint on the table to one of these, these big names, these big heads. And then they're gonna run with it.
I believe it, but I want that. I welcome that though. I want that because
that's validation, right?
Yeah. Well,
nothing to be mad about.
Not even, nothing to be mad about. But it ain't even validation. For the most part is I want the people with the bigger platforms to be saying what we're saying, so it can influence the NBA to do the right thing, because I want the NBA to get better. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if as long as somebody's saying it, it's cool. I like it.
It
I
don't
love
matter, right? That's
Yeah.
my thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I want they need to start recording points given up, man. Because I don't sit here like that's like
That'd be
shit or
dope.
business, man. I don't want to hear how much money, you know what I'm saying, you made, you gross. Man, what did you net? Don't
Yeah.
tell me you made 10,000 as a trucker. Man, how much did you come on with, bro?
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's
about
important too.
2,000 less than a company driver. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead with that glorified company, owner operator bull junk, man. Like,
Yeah.
but you ain't really got seeing it like that. Yeah, so it's all about, you know what I'm saying? Like if this guy, if he giving up, if he's scoring 25 and giving up 20, then bro, you medium, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, so I don't want to take up your time, man, but that's all I just want to throw that in there because
All right.
we on the ass, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, now.
All right. I seen a comment in here from Plain and Simple 244. He said Ron Harper was already established as a solid veteran and blah, 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 blah. Listen, the bottom line is Horace, BJ, Scottie Pippen were not established. That's his co-star. That's his third best player. All right. His co-star and his third best player, his head coach, his GM, his owner, his franchise, all unestablished, all not proven. The only proven thing that was there was Michael Jordan. All right. That's the whole point. And when you compare that or contrast that with LeBron, with his situation, he went to Miami to get his first ring with an already established general manager, an established owner, an established franchise, an established player in D Wade, an established player in Chris Bosh, and an established player in Ray Allen. That's a big difference. Can you get that through your skull? That is a huge difference. Right? So you can't try to come and save LeBron from this situation here. That's just what it is. Like there's no amount of words that you can use. You can use every word in the English language and some of them in Spanish. There's no amount of words that you're going to be able to use to explain this away. It is what it is. Coach wasn't established. GM, franchise, owner, co-star, third best player, all unestablished versus all of that was established for LeBron in Miami. What person would argue that? What person would argue that? Plain and simple call. I will put the number up if you're willing to call. Put yes in the chat if you're willing to call and have this conversation, because I'm not gonna have it with you making the comments, because that's unfair to you that I get to talk and we can't hear your voice. I think that's unfair. So I think we should all hear your voice, call in and explain how you don't understand it. Inquiring minds want to know. Like plain and simple, put yes in the chat if you're willing to call in. I ain't think so. I didn't think so. Where else we want to go with this? Here we go. Let's stay on Michael Jordan and LeBron. And this is an old clip from Gil's Arena from last year. And I think I already did a video on this. And John Sally was on the show. Kenyon was there, Brandon Jennings, Rashad McCants, and Gilbert Arenas, right? And the part that I covered on this, because that was kind of long, the part that I covered on this was John Sally saying that he think LeBron would have gotten more rings than just the 3.5 that he got if he played in a system like the triangle or any system that was as good as the triangle. And what he's saying is that Michael Jordan and Kobe, the triangle offense was a hell of an offense. John Sally played in it with the Bulls and the Lakers, I think. He said that's a hell of an offense, man. The triangle did wonders, and he said that if LeBron would have had that type of structure, he think he probably would have got more rings. And I had a conversation centered around that comment, but I didn't address the fact that Rashad McCants said something that I agree with. Rashad McCants said he also think that if LeBron played in the triangle, it would have forced him to develop a skill set, that he didn't use most of his career, which is utilizing the post with really good, putting the emphasis on his footwork, utilizing the mid range, and scoring with minimal dribbles and times and from different areas, not just the top of the key with high screen and roll. So what McCants was saying is the reason why Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan is better than LeBron is because they played in the offense that forced them to hone in on certain skills. Now, I think it's some truth to that, but I also think Michael Jordan playing in North Carolina and Dean Smith's system with the Tar Heels off the ball, Dean Smith not allowing him to be too much of a focal point, and you gotta learn how to play with players and with other great players like James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Kenny Smith, and then you gotta play off the ball and different play. Like it's like that's a whole like he was at school learning basketball, number one, learning how to be coached by a great coach, learning how to play with other great players, and learning how to play without the ball. Right. So I think the triangle brought that out of him in the pros, but I think it was already part of his repertoire to be able to do that, to be able to be coached, to be able to play without the ball and score without the ball and score in tight spots and in areas. He already had that. Now, what Doug Collins was allowing him to do was be free, just go out there and play free like LeBron was playing with Cleveland. Like we just go figure out, we go give you the ball and we go figure the rest of it out. That's how he was playing with Doug Collins. And Phil Jackson was like, no. We're not going to win like that. Let me put you in this structure, in this triangle. You can break the triangle every now and then and go get your own because we know you can do that. But for the most part, this triangle is for everyone else. Play within it. Let it work for you. Right? So now you got to play without the ball and you got to score in so many different areas of the floor. Mid post, low post, high post, catch and shoot. You got to do so many things, and it's not always you with the ball at the top of the key, calling up a screen, and you keeping the ball until you see a shot you like or a pass that you like. Right? It's not that, right? So, and Kobe Bryant he came out of high school, so he didn't get that type of coaching at the college level, but what he did do was study Michael Jordan and say, well, that's what I want. Man, I don't know what's up with this daggone video. Let me see if I can fix this. Sheesh. All right, so yeah, it did glitch, but yeah, Kobe Bryant was studying Mike, and he was able to, study the best, and then he got the luxury of having Phil come, and the rest is history. But my point is this: as a matter of fact, let me just play what Rashad McCants said.
Don't think that's happening anymore.
Let me say this about the LeBron thing. And so my whole take was LeBron's skill set would have been enhanced and we would have been able to reflectively look at Mike, Kobe, and LeBron if he's in the triangle, because the way Mike and Kobe trained their skill sets inside of the triangle helped them with the mid-range shot, the fadeaway shot, the elbow ISO shot, the top of the key ISO shot, all of these different skill sets were enhanced on top of their natural abilities.
Right.
Mike's natural abilities from the 80s to the 90s, he was just God gifted with athleticism. He knew how to play. But the triangle helped him structurally understand how to get buckets in a system.
Right.
Same with Kobe. When he first came in the league, it was just athletic Kobe. Once he started breaking the offense in the triangle, he started enhancing his skill set. By the second 2 championships, you've seen a Michael Jordan type Kobe because he understood the triangle. LeBron has always been isolated on an island without a bag.
Yeah.
Without being able to break a guy down and do that because he wants to pass first.
I don't need a bag though.
So solely on being that guy without that skill set or a system, we can't compare him to the other two.
Right.
So I said, well, if you put LeBron in the triangle, he automatically is going to enhance his skill set because now he's isolating his movements. That jump shot that he doesn't have that they're sagging on, he's going to work on that because it's a part of the offense. I got to hit this shot. That pop back from the big when you're popping back in that small corner, that shot is automatic for Kobe Mike.
Yeah.
They were looking for that option because they practice it. But Bron never had that option in the offense where he's going to practice this over and over and over and over again because I'm going to get these options. That was my thing with Bron. He could have been the best to play the game, but he never was set up for his skill set to enhance.
So, and listen, this is a masterclass of someone actually having an opinion that they thought out very well with some logic behind it and some truth behind it, and it going completely over everyone else's head. Like, it may have not went over Gil's head, but I think Gil sometime would just do the devil's advocate thing just because, right? Like he might throw a straw man out there for you to argue that on purpose because he likes to win arguments on the panel. But Brandon Jennings is, man, Brandon Jennings was clueless on it. Like all that good stuff he just said went over his head. Let me shorten it and put it in layman's terms. Basically, LeBron, when you gave him the ball and you said, well, LeBron is not a good shooter, so let's put shooters around him to spread the floor. We're not going to put a big man that likes to post up because LeBron needs the paint wide open so he can drive. And we're just going to do high screen and roll and let him run full speed at the rim. And it's either going to be a layup or a dish out for a three. And that's our offense. Right? That's our offense, right? When you play that way, when are you going to develop the other stuff that got exploited in the finals against Dallas and got exploited in the finals against San Antonio, right? When are you going to develop those things? And the answer is in year 18 for LeBron. The things that Michael Jordan and Kobe developed before their first championship, LeBron is just now developing it. He had to play 18 years to get what Mike and Kobe had. By year 13, Mike was done. He was done playing. He mastered the things that LeBron is still working on. He mastered it in year 5. I mastered scoring in year 5. LeBron's still working on it in year 23. And he still ain't mastered the free throw line, right? So that's what Rashad is saying. He's saying if he was in the triangle like Mike and Kobe was, he wouldn't have had no choice but to work on these shots and work on this skill set. So we think, because maybe if he was in the triangle, let's say he did play with Wade somewhere else and Phil Jackson was coaching, they was in triangle. Wade probably would have developed those because he was already almost there with his mid-range and his post-up and his footwork and all these things. So Wade probably would have developed what Mike and Kobe developed, and LeBron probably would have continued to play like Scottie Pippen. That's probably what would have happened. But listen to how clueless Brandon Jennings and Gilbert Arenas is.
Yeah.
But it sounds like
He better than all of them.
what I'm saying is that
He won four without a system.
You keep saying
So Brandon Jennings is saying he's better than because he won 4 without a system. No. The system that LeBron played in was flawed. That's why he couldn't win in Cleveland. And that's why he needed to form a super team in Miami to win. You don't need a super team if you're playing a good system like the triangle. You don't need a super team. But LeBron's system was so flawed, he needed a super team. Without a super team, LeBron probably wouldn't have got any rings. He probably would have got one like Dirk did. On his way out, he finally would have got one. Like Dirk and like Paul Pierce and like Garnett on that level. The super team is what made up for the lack of system. Remember, Golden State had a phenomenal system when they was playing Cleveland. Cleveland had the LeBron system. And when they played Cleveland, the system that the Warriors had would always overpower the system that the Cavs had. I thought in most cases the player with the team with the best player really had the advantage. But somehow LeBron was the best player in the league by far, who had a second best player that was just as good as the other team's best player. Kyrie Irving was just as good as Steph Curry and better in the finals even. So you got the best player on the planet who we're comparing to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and then his second best player is just as good as the best player on the other team, but y'all losing to them because your system is so flawed. It's very hard to win like that. You need a super team to win with that system, right? So Brandon Jennings is saying, well, that makes him better than Mike and Kobe because he got 4 rings without a system. No, he got 4 rings with a flawed system and a super team. Without the super team, there's no rings.
But that's what I'm saying. But that
He won 4 of them without a system. So how good am I without a system?
Skill set.
What
not
skill set?
better than them.
Okay, but your sound is
40,000 points, and I
Not
have a
better
jumper?
than them.
That's the thing that's killing me, and it seems like it's a contradiction to what is being said. If Kobe and Jordan had a handicap by a system, they got enhanced by a system, and one has 6, one has 5, and this guy had to just play rogue basketball and got 4
with a super team.
Why aren't we giving him the benefit of the doubt? Right?
Because of the super team.
I got killed.
And that's the problem.
You take away Kobe's 3 championships because he's playing with Shaq, right?
No,
right?
Nobody does.
No, they do. They do. They say, well,
that's right.
You know, you rode Shaq and you.
Well,
I can't give it to you. But then it's like, but you won 2 championships with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, and you don't get no asterisk beside that, right? So if we're going to talk about
they.
What do you mean, who's they?
You mean the guys who never played basketball? So
I'm talking about everybody in any conversation when you talk about Kobe Bryant 5 championships, LeBron 4 championships, Michael Jordan 6. That's 1, 2, 3. Isn't it?
Yeah.
6, 5, 4 is 1, 2, 3. So where's LeBron on the totem pole of if you're considering championships being you're the greatest? LeBron, Mike has 6.
No,
he's number 1.
No, I think
Kobe has 5. He's number 2.
No, I think
LeBron has 4.
Right,
but the problem,
he's number 3.
Right, I think Bron is better because he didn't have a system.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, bro, if he had I don't even think he would be good in the triangle.
That's only if we're considering championships to be the metric of being the greatest, in which I do not say.
Then that means it would have been Bill Russell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hypothetically, with LeBron playing in the system, it's possible that he developed those skills that Mike and Kobe had. It's possible because I don't think you can get the footwork that they had in the post or pick up that type of post game. He don't have that type of touch. He's a different player than Kobe and Mike. It's almost like saying if I put Magic in the triangle, that he could get the rings that Mike and Kobe got. Mike and Kobe's skill set really matched that triangle. It really did. So trying to force a square into a circle. I don't know if LeBron in theory would develop those same skills with the mid-range, the post, the off-ball play, and all of that good stuff, man. You know, he really loves the ball in his hand. Even though I like what he looks like now with the ball in Luka's hand, just been an athlete out there, and I like what it is. But you see, he's averaging about what 17, 18. I don't know what he's averaging, but like it ain't. It's crazy. It's it ain't Magic or it ain't Mike and Kobe level scoring. You know what I mean? So without the ball, it's a little bit harder for him to really get the points that Mike and Kobe was able to get. So who knows what he would have developed. Also, would he have won in the triangle with a system if they put the pieces around him? Very possible. But I know one thing would have happened. He would have had less stats. Right. I just seen Jeffrey said in the comment section, the stats that Mike was getting before the triangle was crazy. In the triangle, he sacrificed giving up the ball to a point forward like Scotty, or a point guard like Paxson or BJ. You know, he played off the ball. He didn't have the ball a ton in his hand during the shot clock, you know, and he was a finisher. He wasn't a play starter or a play setup guy. He wasn't Stockton. He wasn't Ron Harper. He wasn't Scotty. He wasn't a point forward. He wasn't Magic. He wasn't doing that. He was a finisher. When I get the ball, you know what I'm gonna do with it. So run your offense. Let's go through the motions of the triangle. But by the time if we get a good shot off of going through our sets, great. But if we're not able to get a good shot off of this, we know what's gonna go down. I'm gonna go through this triangle. I'm gonna go through the motion, and I'm gonna get the ball at my spot, and it's gonna be 1-2 pull up, and that's how I'm gonna get my buckets. Right? Could LeBron have developed into that? Possibly. Pippen didn't as much. Pippen still played, you know, kind of his point forward role, but you know, just a little bit more shots when Mike wasn't there. So I think it would have looked like Pippen's year that he was in the MVP talks when Mike was not playing. I think LeBron would look like that in a triangle. Not quite like Kobe and Mike. Just my opinion. That's my opinion. He said I finally brought it home. He was worried. All right, let's there's another thing I wanted to kind of talk about. Let me see. I'm gonna have to share my screen. And it's Nikola Jokic, y'all. Did y'all see? Did y'all see what's been going on Twitter, man? With Jokic, like, you know, people are starting to finally catch on. StreamYard is giving me major problems today, y'all. Major problems today. Let's see if I can share my screen. And here we go. Let's see. So this is what's going on, right? Jokic had a game with 19 assists not too long ago. And someone had the audacity to say, hey, man, we got to start talking about the assists that they're giving Jokic for, because they're not assists, dog. They're not assists, right? So here's what's going on. The offense that Denver runs, Jokic gets the ball at the top of the key, sometimes at the free throw line, sometimes at the three-point line. And what they like to do is do dribble handoffs with Jamal Murray or dribble handoffs with Cam Johnson or whatever the shooters, right? And when Jokic do that dribble handoff and Jamal Murray gets the ball off the dribble handoff, he takes a couple of dribbles, sometimes 3 dribbles, get all the way to the hole for a layup, or sometimes he pull up for 3. Those are cheap assists. Like cheap, like not impressive assists. So when we see 10 assists that Jokic is getting, we automatically just think that all 10 of these assists was just, first of all, real assists, number one. Second of all, we just think they were just spectacular passes that no one else could have made, and he just passed the guys open. But for the most part, they're just dribble handoffs. He might have 1 or 2 spectacular passes in there just to show that he's a great passer, but for the most part, he's spamming dribble handoffs, dog. Look at this nonsense, right? All right. That's Jokic with the ball. He gets the ball at the top of the key. First and foremost, this is their offense, right? You know, when you think of a Shaq, a dominant, like Jokic is a dominant post player. And when you think of a dominant post player like Shaq, Hakeem, Yao Ming, anybody like that, it's a no-no to get the ball this high in the post. But this is Denver's offense. They get the ball to Jokic in the high post, and they run these split screen actions and all these other things, and Jokic just find assists, right? But let's look at some of these. All right, so there's a pass to Cam Johnson, right? Right, Cam Johnson is going to catch his pass. Now, without us pulling up what an assist is in the NBA rule book, do y'all think if Cam Johnson catches his pass and shoots it right away and it goes in, that Jokic should get assist? Yes. Do you think if Cam Johnson catches this ball, pump fakes, takes one dribble to the left or the right, and pulls up and hits the three, that should be an assist? Maybe. But in no way do I think if Cam Johnson took 3 dribbles to get past his man after this pass, that Jokic should get an assist. But he did. 1, 2, 3, and shot over a guy. Like, there's nothing that Jokic did to help Cam Johnson get this shot. There's absolutely nothing that Jokic did to help Cam Johnson get this shot. And those are the assists he's getting. Now, here's a dribble handoff. Now, they run this probably around 6 times a quarter with Jamal Murray. Dribble handoff, 1, 2, 3, a pump fake, and an up and under. And Jokic getting an assist for that. Right? Here's another dribble handoff. 1, 2, 3, and a step back. And Jokic get an assist for that. There's another dribble handoff. 1, 2, and a step back. And Jokic getting an assist for that. There's Jokic again. Let's see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, pump fake. Jokic gets an assist for that. Like, this is what he's getting an assist for, y'all. He's getting an assist for some nonsense. Some absolute nonsense, y'all. Like you can't make this stuff up. So last week I was showing y'all what the screens, the illegal screens look like in the NBA. Now we get to see these assist numbers don't mean shit. That's why I don't prescribe to telling people how good of a player he is by using assists as a stat. Like, you know, you can't fake points. If you score, I saw you put the ball in the hole, you get credit for those points. But with assists, that is the number one stat that just needs to we just need to stop doing assists. If we go count that as an assist, we just need to stop, because it's really misleading, if you know, because people are saying that Jokic should get an MVP based on assists, not his points, his assists. The fact that he's getting points, assists, and rebounds, that's why he's an MVP candidate. If he was just getting points and rebounds, he wouldn't be much of a candidate. He's a candidate because of the assist numbers are 10 or near 10 every year, 8 to 10 assists a season. That's why he's in the MVP discussion, because wow, it's almost a triple double, or it is a triple double. But when you look at assists like that, like that's every play, like that, like when every time I watch a Denver Nuggets game, he's not looking for his shot early on. He's always trying to make sure he can get 4 to 5 assists in the first quarter, because if he can get 4 to 5 in the first quarter, then he know he can get 10 by the end of the game. Like, he really is out there to make sure he averages this triple double. Like, he would not let his assists fall below 10 in average. He's making sure he get those assists before anything. I want to make sure I get these assists before I even get points. Like, you can see it on his face. You can see it, right? So these assist numbers is just it's fugazi, man. It really is. So I don't respect it. I'm not impressed by it. I never was impressed by assists. Not even when Westbrook was doing triple doubles. I'm just not impressed by assists. I wasn't even impressed when Stockton was doing it. Like, you know, it's just not an impressive thing to me. So, but that leads me to what I really wanted to get on with my next topic. I wanted to talk about my top 10 players this season, because, you know, what I've been watching whatever Bleacher Report or The Ringer or ESPN they might put out there. My stuff is different, right? And yeah, there are some players like Giannis that been in and out of the lineup that are hurt. Players like Tatum that just came back. He hasn't returned to his 100% form yet, but he's looking pretty good. J-Dub over there in OKC, he's back. These are guys that under normal circumstances, Embiid as well. Those are guys that under normal circumstances, under the normal season, if they was able to play just as much games as the guys that I got in my top 10, they probably would be in this, especially Giannis. Giannis would definitely be in my top 10 if it wasn't for his injury. And so with Tatum. Embiid, he can give me old Embiid one game and the next game he can't. You know what I mean? So that factors in. There's only 10 slots. So if you can't be consistent with it, it's gonna be hard for me to put you over a guy who can be consistent with it, right? And also Steph Curry as well. So the top 10 is tough. You got Giannis, you got Embiid, you got Tatum, you got Steph. Those are 4 guys that probably deserve to be in it, but just can't be in it by just because of injury, right? That's 4 guys, and then I got some honorable mentions that are right there. And believe it or not, I think LaMelo Ball is probably a top 20 at the very worst, and it's possible a top 15 player this year in the league. And I also think Jalen Johnson over in Atlanta is as well. So those would be honorable mentions. And then I had to mention those injured guys that will probably be in my top 10 if they wasn't injured. But let's start with number 10, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards. Now, listen, these guys that I'm naming, even though Anthony Edwards just missed a stretch of games just now and he's been dealing with a knee injury, he still played over 60 games so far this season, and he's going to meet the 65-game threshold and all that stuff. And he got his team. He's averaging 29. He got his team in the playoffs. And Anthony, he's self-explanatory. He plays both ends of the floor, offense and defense. I got a lot of two-way players. I got a lot of complete players in my top 10. I got very few one-way players in my top 10, right? But they're in there because they stone cold killers as far as offense is concerned. So I got a couple of them, but for the most part, these guys that I got in my top 10 play both ends. You got to give him his props, right? Then at number 9, I'm going with Kevin Durant. This dude's 37 years old. He's played 71 games this season. Like, think about that, dog. 37 and he plays 71 games, right? He's averaging 25 or 26 points a game. One thing I don't like about Kevin Durant is the more he tries to become a playmaker and a play starter, the more turnovers he pile up. But when Kevin Durant can get off the ball and still get up 15 to 20 shots a game off the ball, he's dangerous. But him at the top of the key as a play starter, that's the only thing that's keeping him from being higher on this list. But he's still a stone cold killer. He's still the Grim Reaper, right, or the Slim Reaper. But I think that's where that's his only downfall is when he has the ball at 7 foot and that small frame, skinny. Like, protecting the ball is very tough for him, how long he is and how far that ball got to travel for him to dribble. And when people try to get up in his hip pocket, and then when he turn his back and they can get around his back so easy because his back is built like a pencil, they don't even work. Like, he's just not an ideal ball handler against pressure by way of his body type. He's a great ball handler. He's a smart player. He's just not built to be a ball handler against pressure. That's why we have point guards, right? So him trying to carry that load for the Rockets has exposed him a little bit. But yeah, still number 9 in my book. Number 8, believe it or not, man, this dude here, he's also played about 70. He's been an Iron Man. Played hell of a games this year, right? I think he's going to get first team All NBA this year. I think he's also the best point guard in the league. Well, it depends on if you consider Luka, Cade, and SGA point guards. So if we're considering Luka, Cade, and SGA point guards, then Jamal Murray would be the fourth best point guard, right? So let me just say that fourth best point guard in the league, right? But dog, top 10 player in my book for what I seen this year, unstoppable, averaging 26, carried the Denver Nuggets for 16 games without Jokic, and really still carrying. He just had 50 the other night. I think that's 2 50-point games he had this season. Like, the dude is phenomenal, man. I mean, I don't even know what people, Denver fans always, they wanted to trade him and Michael Porter Jr. last year. They blame him for everything, man, but this dude kept this team afloat. They wouldn't be in the playoff hunt where they at now if it wasn't for what Jamal Murray and Peyton Watson was able to do while Jokic was down. So, he's been a top 10 player this year for me. And that's crazy. I put him over Kevin Durant, but I put him over Kevin Durant based on the turnovers. Like Kevin Durant, the turnovers and the meltdowns in the fourth quarter, from the Rockets. But for some people, Kevin Durant might be higher, but I got him at 9 and I got Murray at 8. Number 7, a lot of people got this dude in the top 3. I do not. It's very hard to be a one-way player, a liability on defense, and me call you a top 3 player. Now, if we was making a list of top 3 scorers or top 3 offensive players, then Luka would be higher. But if we're talking about top 10 players, which means both sides of the floor, completeness, complete player. Even on offense, he's incomplete, because on offense, completeness means I can do it with and without the ball. And for the most part, Luka can only do it with the ball. Right. So I got him at 7, but that's still that's top 10. That's still you're still in good company. Number 6, Kawhi Leonard, dog, averaging a career high. Like, he's 34. This is his best season by far. He's already over 60 games. He's going to meet the threshold of 65 games as well. He's going to make a probably not first team, but second or third at the very least, all NBA. Still playing phenomenal defense. Turned the Clippers season around like crazy. Like, they had a horrible start to the season. This man averaging 28, 29 points, dog. Like, and unstoppable when he's in his bag. Like, still must see TV. Like, all the guys on this list right now, I like watching Jamal Murray play, Kawhi Leonard play, and Kevin Durant play. I don't like watching Anthony Edwards and Luka play. I really don't. Right? So that's the first 5. Now let's get to the second 5 or the top 5. Let's get to the top 5 players. Who y'all think it is? Who y'all think the top 5 is? What y'all think the list is? Let me see some of these comments. They still talking about the triangle offense, and they still talking about the triangle offense in the comment section, man. Who still got this triangle offense stuff going on? He said, "Give me your top 10 all time." I'll probably do that. Oh man, y'all is going in. Yeah, you're right. Heath over Ledger. Murray had a heck of a season so far. KD got more burners than the Cartel. Yeah, the Cartel got burners. Yeah, man. But 71 games is for Kevin Durant is phenomenal. All right, so let's see what we're looking like for the top 5, y'all. Number 5, Jaylen Brown, another two-way player. Now, this was tough for having him over Kawhi, because I think Kawhi is actually better than Jaylen Brown, but you cannot deny the MVP season that Jaylen Brown is having. For him to have the Celtics at number 2 in the East behind Detroit, phenomenal season, but having them number 2 in the East, and the fact that, Edwards is a two-way player, Durant is a two-way player, and Kawhi is a really phenomenal two-way player. I think Jaylen Brown is even better than all of those 3 as a defender, and if you put all that together. So Jaylen Brown is number 5 for me. He's been a top 5 player all season. He's in the MVP race for me. For the most part, everybody that's in this top 5 is in the MVP race. right? So that's why I got Jaylen Brown. Some people might agree, some people might disagree. Number 4, Cade, right? Now, before he got injured and had his collapsed lung, and before the collapsed lung, Detroit had a stretch of basketball where they was losing games. And the more they lost games, the more Cade dropped in the MVP race for me and for Vegas. And I think the reason why is because the number one thing that Cade had going for him in the MVP race, not the only thing, but the number one thing he had going for him is the fact that they were number 1 in the East and they was keeping up pace with OKC for the best record in the league. And once that diminished a little, his MVP hopes kind of diminished. And now he's injured, and now he might not even make all NBA team because he might not meet the 65 game threshold, which is unfortunate. But he's been a top 4 performer for me all season. The 4th best player in the league for me, 100%. All right, number 3, this might be a little controversial for some of y'all, but it's Nikola Jokic. Self-explanatory. The best big, he might be the 2nd best center in the league. and as far as my list is concerned, he is the 2nd best center. So, I got Wemby over him. So Jokic, it's self-explanatory, man. This dude is top 3 player in the league and it's going to go down to all-time great. He's the engine for his team, but he's also another player who leaves a lot to be desired on the defensive end. And I think complete players are better players than incomplete players. It just is what it is. Like, completeness and incompleteness is no contest. So if you're offense only or offense mainly and you don't add a lot of value to the defensive end for your team, it's going to be very hard for you to be better than the guy who adds value on offense and defense and has a better record than you and is leading. You get what I'm saying? Like that's kind of hard to overcome, right? So number 2 is Wemby for me. This is the best defender in the league, and it's not just rim protection. It's he switch on screens on the perimeter, and he's getting busy. He's all over the place. He's everywhere. Like he shuts down. Like Dion used to shut down the whole side of the field as a corner. That's like Wemby shuts down the entire paint. And even when he switch on people on the perimeter, you don't want to take that shot either. So he got all that shut down. He moves his feet. He's not a liability nowhere on the defensive end. Like even you think like if Yamin at 7'7", 7'6", you get like Yamin on that perimeter, it's like it's dog food. You can blow by him real easy. You can't bring Wemby out of the paint and think you go get an advantage. You still don't have an advantage. So for you to have that and then you have this offensive package that you have, ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm putting no Jokic over him. It's not even possible. So my number 1 player in the league is, of course, the reigning MVP, the guy that's playing for the team with the best record in the league. That was the first team to 10 wins this year, the first win to 20, 30, 40, 50, and the first team to 60 wins this season. And the only team with 60 wins is the OKC Thunder led by SGA. He has the most clutch points in the league, so he's going to win Clutch Player of the Year. He's working on the 50, 40, 90 this year as well. Second leading scorer in the league, and also considered a top 10 defender in the league as well. Two-way player, complete player, clutch player, efficient player. I mean, what a great leader, available, like all the above. Like he's got it. So he's defending his MVP and he's defending his championship, and he might go back to back in both of those things this year, right? So that's my top 10. Y'all let me know what y'all think about my top 10. I'm gonna look in the comments to see what y'all talking about. Any top 10 worst co-stars, Randall and Towns. I don't even know what that means. Luka and Joker should be the bottom of any list due to the fact they don't play defense. Yeah. I can't get mad at you with that, but DeAndre Cyber said trash top 10. Well, I guess the top 10 that you would respect would be the one that you make, or I gotta make a top 10 that match what you think. But this is the top 10 based on how I see it. But I'm sorry it's trash for you, brother. I'm still on that Halliburton was going to get the MVP for that chip. I'm mad that we didn't see that play out. Good luck with that. If SGA take down Boston in the finals this year, you local fanboys are going to hate me. I actually think it might be OKC in Boston, but OKC got to get past San Antonio. You know, that, you know, for SGA and OKC, the OKC fans should be nervous. San Antonio, them boys do not like OKC, and Wemby do not like Chet or OKC. So they play their best basketball. They play their best basketball against OKC this year, man. You know, and when you got a team that feel like they ain't got nothing to lose and everything to gain when they playing you, and you too cool for school out there because you think they was gonna get down and lay down, you get 4 out of 5 losses like you got this year against San Antonio. Or is it 3 out of 4? Maybe 4 out of 5. I think they won 4 and lost 1. The Spurs against OKC. So yeah, they got to get past them boys if they want to defend a title. But speaking of Wemby and San Antonio, we'll talk about Wemby, I guess, giving his own case or making his own case for why he is, not should be, why he is the MVP of this league this year. And to be honest with you, I'm not even that mad at him, right? So we'll play what Wemby said first, and then I want to play what Brendan Haywood said in response to what Wemby said, and we'll have a conversation around that.
Defense is 50% of the game, and that is undervalued so far in the MVP race because I believe I'm the most impactful player defensively in the league. Second argument would be that we almost swept OKC in the season, and we dominated them 3 times with their real team and 4 times with the, more rotation players. And my third argument would be that offense impact is not just sports.
All right. 3 things he named. The first thing he named is defense. He said defense is 50% of the game. I'm glad that we're hearing that amongst the players and in the mainstream, because that's what we've been preaching here at Man Down for years. Like, why are y'all just ignoring the defensive end of the floor? Like, why is that not even part of the equation for y'all when y'all talk about awards and MVPs and first team All NBAs and player rankings? Like, why is defense just not even mentioned? Why is it not important to you? So that's going to be the new thing you're hearing. I've been saying it for a while, but now I'm hearing it in the mainstream. Defense is 50% of the game. Defense is 50% of the game. Defense is 50% of the game, right? You're going to hear that more and more often, right? More and more often. What is my MVP criteria I always talk about? It talks about offensive value, defensive value, and team success, right? What's my formula that I use? Well, if we go name the MVP trophy after Michael Jeffrey Jordan, then we're going to use the standard of Michael Jeffrey Jordan for this MVP trophy when we give it out. And one thing that he was known for was playing all 82 games. So I want you to play as many games as possible, get as close as 82 as possible. He was a scorer, 35 points per game, 37 points per game. He played defense at a high level, defensive player of the year in one of his MVP seasons, defensive all first team and steals leader. Like, this is deep. Like, he played both ends of the floor. That's what I think MVP should embody: greatness, eliteness, and value on both ends of the floor, offense and defense, right? If I have a candidate that plays both ends of the floor at an elite level and he has the better record than the other candidate. And let's just compare Jokic and Wemby, because a lot of people say the triple-double covers a multitude of sins, and because he averaged a triple-double, you have to give him an MVP. That's what Kenyon Martin said. Triple-double, triple-double, triple-double. That's all he said. But you have a triple-double, but I play both ends of the floor at an elite level. My team record is better than yours. I'm in the number 2 in the West, right behind OKC, and you're number 5 or 6. What is the conversation about? I've won more games than you. I've led my team to more wins. I'm better on defense. I'm better on offense. If you want to be real about it, I just don't play point guard and get all the assists. Right? But I'm elite on both ends of the floor, and I have a better record than yours. What are we talking about? Like, if we were playing poker, I don't think triple-double would be the highest hand that you can put out there. I think the triple-double can be beat by something. If I see a better record, elite on both ends, and I have a guy that is dog shit on the defensive end, elite offensively, but it resulted in less wins, you think we just go put you over him because you average a triple-double? Hell no. Like, if you're going to give a guy an MVP because of a triple-double and you in the 5th or 6th seed, there's no way he's ever going to not get the MVP. He can be in an 8th seed. Like, how low can Nikola Jokic drop as far as his team success before someone who believes in the triple-double like Kenyon Martin will say he's not the MVP? Because right now he's in the 5th seed, and Kenyon Martin is still saying give it to him over Wemby, SGA, and everybody that's above him. Cade, Jaylen Brown, give it to him over all those players because of the triple-double. But we all leading our team to more success, and we all are playing elite on both ends. Jaylen Brown, Wemby, SGA all play on both ends and have a better record, which is the reason why they have a better record, because my best player is contributing at an elite level on defense, but the Denver Nuggets best player is not contributing at an elite level on defense, and he can't protect the rim, and he can't protect the perimeter, he can't protect the paint. He's dog food, right? So we look at all of that, and you keep hearing saying defense is 50% of the game, defense is 50% of the game. And I just keep showing y'all all of these things that I've been telling y'all for the last year or two about defense and why it's important. And I give y'all all these illustrations and tell y'all what my criteria is and how I came up with that criteria. And now you're starting to hear people say it in the mainstream, and I love it. I absolutely love it, right? So so the first thing he says, defense is 50% of the game. I agree 100%. You're the best defender in the league, Wemby. Best rim protector, best everything. Like, you're the best defender in the league. No contest. Then he said, second, because they beat OKC. Now, I don't like that one, right? The reason why I don't like that is because if I can get clout by beating you, then I'm admitting that you're the better guy. Like, if me beating you gives me clout and MVP consideration, then you must be the real MVP. Because I'm trying to take credit because I beat you, I should get some type of extra credit. Right? And I get it. They're the defending champions, they're the team with the best record in the league, and that means something. And head-to-head battles mean something for MVP candidates. Like, if I got 5 guys that's all in the MVP race, whenever they play against each other, I want to see this because like during a regular season, some games mean more than others. And for 2 guys that are battling for superiority at the top of the pyramid, or bragging rights, or MVP votes and stuff like that, then when y'all face off, I know they gonna be locked in, and I want to see that. So those head-to-head battles, it sway opinions some. So yes, for you to convincingly beat OKC 4 times out of 5, I would say that it means something. But I wouldn't have said because we beat OKC so many times, because I think that shows that, like, you really see them as better than you. and you really see SGA as the best guy and the real MVP. So I didn't like that one. Then the third thing he said is offense is more than just scoring. And the reason why I don't like that one is because that's the knock on him. He's only averaging 24 points a game. Right. So he's not really going in. And, for people who might say that that's a knock that once supported Nikola Jokic when he used to average 24, but he was averaging almost a triple-double, so they made up for it. Just recently, the last couple of years, Jokic has took his points up to 30 a game because before he was down there at the 24 range, especially that year that Kendrick Perkins pointed out that he was like top 15 in scoring. He was like, name another MVP that was top 15 in scoring. It probably was Steve Nash, but but yeah, he pointed that out, and it was like, man, that's a good point, man. He's not scoring a lot of points, and all these other guys, like for all these other guys that get MVP considerations, they gotta be putting the ball in the hole. But we make an exception for Nikola Jokic because whatever reason, I don't know, because I guess he almost averaged a triple double. So Wemby is not, he's not lightening up offensively as far as scoring. So he had to mention offense is more than scoring. And, I think Brandon Haywood is going to say this. I play his clip, but he's going to mention that when Wemby screen and he rolls, you got to respect that lob threat. So the guy has to rotate from the 3-point line to stop that lob. And Wemby is leading, just him as a screener and a roller is leading to a lot of open shots. So I guess Wemby wants credit for that in the MVP race. No, you don't get credit for that. We're the knowledge, but this is not what we're going to give credit for the MVP, because if that's the case, then we got to give credit to all the ghost stats. Like, hey, you don't understand what I do in the locker room. Like we can't just start creating narrative storylines and ghost stats to support an MVP race. I understand when I watch the game what type of gravity you have and what you draw for the defense. Steph was the same way. But we never gave Steph MVPs because of that. Steph had the numbers too. We never gave him MVPs because of his gravity. Every player that's the best player on the team have some sort of gravity. So we just can't start measuring ghost stats and say, well, he got more gravity, because how do we even measure that? And then it's a slippery slope. What do we stop at? If we're measuring gravity on your rolls, can we measure my gravity at practice? Hey, look, man, I'm making so many guys so good by what I'm doing at practice. Like, we just can't acknowledge everything. So he's just got to take the offensive hit. And out of all the guys that's in the MVP race, he's scoring the least amount of points. And we just got to acknowledge that. All right, but listen to how Haywood broke it down.
All right. So what do you make of his argument?
I love it. I love it. First and foremost, he understands the situation. Sometimes you got to sway voters, and you have to plant a seed that if they're missing something, because every voter has their own criteria. There's no set of rules and criteria of, hey, you got to vote like this. And Victor is basically saying, hey, for a long time, you guys are acting like defensive dominance doesn't matter just because offense pays the bills and looks good. And when we're talking defense, none of these guys in the MVP race are even close to what Victor does defensively. Yeah. Victor blocks shots. He switches picks and rolls and shuts down guards. More importantly, there's no stat for this, but the amount of times I see guys drive into the lane, look up, see big fella, and keep it moving, that's valuable. Yep. That's really valuable.
That's invaluable.
Yeah, yes. Because he's one of the few guys, like, I'm not shooting that flow. The big fella's around. Nah. Hey, it's like Friday. I see Debo around here. Yeah, I'm going to get up out the lane real quick. I don't want him to snatch my chain. And so it's just one of those situations where it's like, hey, I'm going to plant this seed that I truly believe and that I think you guys aren't looking at. Defense matters a lot. And when you look at the defensive side of the ball, I'm the best. The second thing he said was all offense isn't scoring. He has a point. Watch San Antonio play. Watch what happens when he picks and rolls to the basket. The whole team, the whole weak side comes over, and that's how you get guys getting those. Yeah, he doesn't get the assist when that ball gets skipped over his head, and he gets a 3, and somebody else gets a 3. But he doesn't need it. Like if you watch and you know, hey, they switch a point guard on him, and you're trying to front, and your whole team got to be around him, so these guys are wide open and unguarded. Yo, he's like, I could play selfishly and get more stats, but I'm getting my 24, 25, whatever he's averaging. I'm impacting it defensively. And then more importantly, dog, when I go in the paint, I take your whole team with me. And listen, this needs to be said because some of these voters are stat sheet watchers and don't watch full games. So Victor's like, hey, no. I know sometimes some of you East Coast guys be asleep when I'm playing, or just you're not paying attention to my West Coast games. I need you to understand the assignment. Here's the homework. Go look this stuff up. I have no problem with Victor saying it. I love that he said it. We keep asking who's the face of the league. It ain't even a question. It's my man, the big Frenchman. Is he the face of the league?
Wow.
Oui. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
You know what? I love Brendan Haywood when he commentates and when he give analysis, man. He's honest. And he got a way of words that I like, man. I like Brendan Haywood from my hometown too, Greensboro, North Carolina. Went to my rival high school. He went to Dudley. I went to Smith, but he was older than me. So, yeah. Shout out to Brendan Haywood, man. Shout out to Greensboro. But I agree with some of the points he made. One, I like when he said Wemby just gotta put this message out and plant this seed, because he said most of these voters that got votes, most of these media members that have votes are stat watchers, nerds, and don't watch the games. And I really believe that. Like if you look at a guy like Chris Broussard or Nick Wright, I think Chris Broussard has a vote. I don't think Nick Wright has a vote. But if Nick Wright did have a vote, do y'all really think Nick Wright is really watching these games? And if he is watching, do you think he know what he's watching? Because what I do know is he gets up Monday through Friday, and he's up probably 4 a.m. getting ready for his morning show. He does his morning show, and after that, he has a podcast he do from home, right? And I don't know what else he do after that, but I don't really think he's watching these games. I don't really think half of them that's on TV are watching the games, but they got votes. A lot of them have votes. They too busy. Like, I know Shannon is super busy. Like, he probably about to go live in a minute with Nightcap. Like, Nightcap is every night, right? Then he got Club Shay Say, then he doing all this other stuff with his liquor and his wine, and then he got to go over there and give Michelle some meat and all this stuff he doing. Like, when he got time to watch games, I don't think he's watching the games like we are, right? He said, yeah, a lot of these dudes are really relying on the analytics and the stats, and then they all have a different criteria. So if it's 300 guys, it's probably a little bit over 100 guys that got votes for MVP. I don't think it's more than 200, but it's not a lot of guys that got votes. And if it's 100 of them, I think it's 100 different criterias. And I don't even know how you even vote like that. Just imagine having 100 different criterias, and these are the guys deciding who gets the MVP vote. Like, that don't make sense to me, because now the MVP don't mean anything. If we got 100 different meanings on what an MVP is, then it don't mean nothing. Like, we don't even know what the MVP is. Is the MVP the guy who stuffed the stat sheets the most? Is the MVP guy a guy who's leading his team to the most wins? Is the MVP guy, like, what is an MVP? We don't know. And it's different from voter to voter. Some people think it's just about the analytics. It's all about the advanced stats and the numbers and the box plus minus and the VORP and all of this crazy. They think it's all of that. Like, who's putting up the most stats? And I can't believe that a former player, when you ask him who's the MVP, and their only answer is triple-double. Triple-double. Like, what does that mean, dude? Explain to me why a triple-double deserves an MVP. Like, explain to me why triple double deserves the MVP. And if I wanted an MVP and all I had to do was average a triple double, and I can just rely on Jamal Murray to get the wins, I ain't even got to help Denver win that much. I could be the 5th best team in the West. As long as I record that triple double, I'm going to be in the top consideration for MVP in a lot of people's eyes. Just get the triple. Like he go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning, just get the triple double. Like, that's his thoughts. When he's warming up for the game, just get the triple double, dog. That's all you got to do. Just get the triple double. We'll worry about the win later. Just get the triple double. We'll let Jamal Murray bring it home in the 4th quarter. He can get the win. Just get the triple double. That's his folk. Watch him play and tell me he's not playing for a triple double. You can tell the guys is playing for wins and the guys is playing for triple doubles. Westbrook was playing for a triple double when he was in OKC, and that's why people stopped voting for him, and that's why people kind of took their blessings away from the results of the triple double. Like, hey, you get a triple double one year, and y'all in the 5th seed or 6th seed, we give you MVP. Then the next year you get average another triple double, but you still in the 5th or 6th seed. I'm like, man, how many times we gonna reward you for this? Okay, I think we probably shouldn't have voted for you last year. Like, we did it because of the triple double though. But why stop doing it? Like, if the triple double mean that much, then why aren't they getting the same votes after they won the MVP for the triple double? Jokic didn't even get the MVP when he averaged his last year. Like, the triple double is not that big of a deal, dog. It's not. Especially after I showed you what these assists are. Those are inflated. Assists might be the worst stat in basketball, and defensive rebounds might be the 2nd worst. Offensive rebounds are legit. You still got to hustle and box out for some of those. Defensive rebounds, they're literally going to the player that's playing the least amount of defense. Everybody's shooting threes, so all the rebounds are long rebounds and falling outside the paint. And the guys that are getting them are the guys who's guarding nobody. Like, you're getting rewarded for being a bad defender. Hey, you're such a bad defender, we're going to put you in space, just guard nobody. You can play free safety. You can be Ed Reed out here. Just be somewhere in this vicinity. And it's just 3-point shots going up, and Luka, Titty Doncic and BBL Jokic, they're just rebounds just falling in their hand, just falling there. All because we're hiding you on defense. And then once you get them rebounds, we're like, oh my God, he's averaging a triple double. But what rebound was you impressed by that he grabbed? Name a rebound that Luka has grabbed that you was impressed by. Name a rebound that he went up like Charles Barkley, boxed out Dennis Rodman, boxed out Charles Oakley, boxed out Shaq, boxed out Oakley, boxed out one of these, Karl Malone, and went up and got a rebound at his apex after a box out while this guy was all over. It was 2 dudes. I grabbed it in front of him. I grabbed that, and this is a missed layup that I grabbed. I'm in the trenches grabbing this rebound. I grabbed that rebound, and I'm getting multiple rebounds like that a quarter on a night in and night out basis. Those are the rebounds I'm grabbing. Those are impressive rebounds. The rebounds that Rodman was getting was impressive. The rebounds that Luka is getting are not impressive. So why would I be impressed by his triple-double average? Your rebounds are trash. They're wide open rebounds. They're uncontested. There's no box out. There's nothing that you had to do skill-wise or hustle-wise to get that rebound. All you had to do was be a bad defender, and so bad that your team will hide you on defense on the worst player, and you're just getting trash rebounds falling in your hand. And titties for everybody. Titties are everywhere. Side titty you see coming out of the side of the jersey is jiggling, double chins for all. Jokic throw ass on all his screens. He out there popping ass on the perimeter. Like, this junk ain't even cool, dog. It ain't even cool. But I'm off my soapbox, y'all. I'm going to open the phone lines up one last time before I get out of here, man. We can discuss the top 10. We can discuss this MVP. All of that to be open for discussion. He said facts on Joker not being the MVP this year. His team is 4th in the West and 12 back from the win column of OKC stat pattern for pay. That seals it for me, SGA. Yeah, I agree. They're going to start passing out assists like hockey. I believe it. They're going to start giving hockey assists. I think I seen Jokic get an assist for a screen one time. He didn't even make the pass. He just screened. They probably thought it was a dribble handoff, but it wasn't. He just screened. They gave him an assist. I'm like, this is insane, dog. He said Wemby for MVP. BB Jokic. Yeah, man. It's BBL Jokic for real, man. Watch him throw all that ass when he throws screens, man. I never seen a dude screen this many times with his butt and it's not getting called. Like, this dude can hip check and throw ass, pop ass on the perimeter. And that's called a screen these days. I'm like, man, this is insane, dog. Like, the NBA is just let itself go, dog. Oh, sure, I forgot I had a super chat that came in. I appreciate that. It said, I'm saying you a South Carolina shirt because, bro, I will wear a South Carolina shirt. Anything with Carolina on it, I will wear it. I'll wear anything with Carolina on it. He said, Jokic is a bottom. Good grief. Diddy screams. Y'all stupid, man. All right, look, I'm going to go ahead and end it, man. This was a good stream. 2 hours is good. I think I made good time, man. I'll probably catch y'all again tomorrow because there's so much stuff that we got to get into and talk about, man. And I got to give y'all my top 5 players at each position. I don't know if I want to do all 5 positions in one show or just do one position per show. We'll see. But if I do one position tomorrow, it'll probably be the point guard position. I think that's real interesting. But other than that, appreciate everybody that called in. Appreciate all the likes and the comments and the thumbs up and the shares. Raw Sports Radio said great show. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call in too as well. Thanks for the super chat from my bro. Everybody else, man, moderators in here, man. I see y'all, man. Good job tonight. I catch y'all on the next one. That should be tomorrow. But if I don't see y'all tomorrow, we definitely go see y'all Friday with the full panel. But appreciate y'all, man. Peace.